Saying no was never a big part of our upbringing in an African home where the rule of thumb has always been to obey, comply, and submit to our elders. You do not question authority, and that is the way that you show respect for others. With time and experience, I have started saying no to certain things because I do not wish to harbor unnecessary resentment about things that I do not wish to do, and I do not merely want to keep the peace by compromising on the things that I find necessary or comfortable for me. And I find that in doing that, there will be people who will be upset or will find me disrespectful because they do not understand what I deem to be a boundary. So today, we are talking about consent. No, not the sexual kind of consent, but we are talking about digital consent, and we are specifically talking about consent and setting boundaries at the workplace. I'd like to know how you are navigating consent at your workplace and any advice that you might have for me on how to go about it. Because I am about to describe a situation that I encountered recently. We are in the customer service week, and I had an encounter with one administrative member at work. I work a light blue color job. I call it that because I feel the job has an element of both white and blue color, and I don't know exactly how to describe it, so I call it a light blue color job. And in my encounter with one person from the more administrative side of the job, let's call this person Sydney because I feel Sydney is a more gender neutral name. So Sydney approached me and another colleague at work that we were going to be doing a simple video saying something about the customer service week, and I did not feel comfortable with that. Initially, I wasn't paying attention to what Sydney was telling my colleague, but when I did turn my attention back to Sydney, I inquired about what was going on, what we were going to do, and Sydney mentioned that we were making a simple video where you say happy customer service week, and everybody was doing it. There wasn't any indication in the way Sydney spoke which would show that there was a choice for someone to opt out because they do not feel comfortable with it. It was more like, we are doing this and that is it. And I said, no, I do not feel comfortable with a video of myself being put out there like that, so I cannot do it. And for some reason, Sydney did not seem to appreciate that. So there was this back and forth where Sydney started explaining to me how me saying no was, I guess, not nice, and that I could find a better way of saying I didn't want to do that, and that the way I chose to communicate my discomfort could appear as disrespectful to some people, even though that is not my intent. And honestly, I did not really understand what she said because I don't really know any nice way of saying no. I mean, how do I say I don't feel comfortable? You just say I don't feel comfortable with this, so I cannot do it. I did not raise my voice when I was saying that. I did not say it with, I don't think I said it with any tone. I merely said I don't feel comfortable with it, so I can't do it. And for Sydney, she wanted a more tangible reason for why I couldn't do it. And according to Sydney, being uncomfortable is not a good enough reason. I should have something more than just discomfort. But from what I know, when it comes to consent, you do not need to have any elaborate explanation on why you do not wish to do something. Consent merely means you agree to do something. As a matter of fact, this is the kind of situation that my sister will call a flat out red flag, because the mere fact that no is not enough for you to know that someone is not comfortable with something, no is not enough for you as someone not giving their consent is a very concerning issue. Because what do you mean by I should have a better reason for not wanting to do something? Like, my discomfort isn't enough. Like, make it make sense, seriously. I mean, this is not to bash anyone. I'm just putting it out there that there's something like cyber consent. I am a strong believer in the concept of asking for consent when it comes to doing things with people. So in this case, I feel that permission, not permission per se. I feel that we should be asked whether we are comfortable with it before being told that we are doing it. Now, I am not trying to explain myself to anybody here, but I feel there's a need for this type of issue to be talked about, because at this age or at this stage of work life, I feel that many people should know about such things, about asking for permission before putting people's images or something out there. So the whole concept is about getting consent, and in this case it is digital consent. So consent isn't only limited to sexual activity between two people where you ask the other party whether they want to continue with an activity or not. With digital consent, you need to seek permission, and it has to be given freely without coercion, without guilt, or without any pressure, so that you can distribute people's images or even share a video or a piece of message that they've sent to you. So far as someone's communication with you is meant to be for you only, you need to get their consent if you wish to share that with other people. Now, I understand that there are some people who may disagree with me and what I'm saying, because after all, I am still putting myself out here. So it might seem that I am making a big deal out of nothing, but let's not mistake me putting myself out as the same as someone putting me out in a video or in a picture without my permission or my knowledge. The reason we need to get digital consent is that even though the person you might be communicating with will be a family member, a close friend, someone you are very comfortable with and who is very comfortable with you too, they may not be quite comfortable with other people seeing them in a certain situation that they wouldn't mind you seeing them in. So in that situation, maybe there is something that they feel uncomfortable about, maybe they do not feel they look good enough in a certain situation, or they do not feel they are in the type of clothing that they want to be seen in by outsiders. But when you do not seek their consent before sending a picture or an image of them in that state out, then they may have to encounter that image somewhere later without knowing even the source, knowing whether it's from you or if mistakenly someone had access to your device and published it. So yes, you need to let people know before you send their videos out, but that doesn't really apply to videos that people post on their social media, so far as it's not private. So something like this, probably this video will be shareable. So if I allow access for people to share it and I see my video somewhere and I'm being quoted on something that I have said, there's no way that I am going to feel uncomfortable, because that is to be expected. I put it out myself, so that is very different. I hope you've learned something helpful from this short video. There are a lot of resources online. You just do a simple Google search of digital consent and you get a lot of things to learn about it. I just hope that people learn to respect boundaries. I hope that you learned something from this short video, and my hope is that people at work learn to respect other people's boundaries and to understand that having someone as an employee does not mean that you have their full permission to distribute images or videos of them. You always need to ask for consent before publishing people's data or images. Also, if you're in Ghana, I'm inviting you to listen to my podcast, which I'll be launching soon, and I will put it on my page sometime when I do. The name of my podcast is The Little Discount Fairy Girl, and on it I am not trying to be a guru or something, but I talk about personal finance and how to live on a budget, or more or less discount. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video.